Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Larpshire. In today's video, I have a couple of special guests with me, close personal friends of mine, and fellow Larpers who participate in my game.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathanael.
And today we're going to be talking about their awesome character deaths that we all just experienced in the most recent Larp.
It's a wild ride.
Stay tuned.
My character was Wes Liamaris, and he was a human rogue, sort of a thief, rascal type, sneaky, not the type of guy that you'd want to be around, always worrying that he's going to steal your coin purse, or at least that's how he started off.
I played Vilius Brewhammer. I was a half-dwarf mercenary, and he was much more of the drunken, rough and tumble, hated pretty much everybody unless he offered you a drink kind of thing. Then it was kind of a sign of respect.
Yeah, and what Wes and Vilius kind of started from this, they came from the same world, so they had this sort of camaraderie in their less than legal activities.
Yes.
But that drew them together, and they had this really tight bond of brotherhood. They always got into fights. Well, you got into fights.
Mostly.
Yeah. And so they were always close. And then towards the end of their character arcs, Wes started going in a more heroic, sort of a redemptive arc.
And I strayed from that. I went the opposite direction because I was already in kind of a criminal underworld. I wanted to embrace that darker side more. Not me the player, but the character more. And that kind of ended up creating a rift between our two characters.
In conflict, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it kind of ended up in us resulting in each other's deaths.
Yes.
Well, we had a couple of conversations about that beforehand, and we brought the idea to Ben, and we said that it was up to him if he wanted to use it, but we kind of bugged him about it for about 2 months afterwards until he said yes.
Yeah, and it wasn't that we wanted to die. It was more we'd had these characters for a long time, and they had really progressed to a good point that we thought this is a good closing of their character arc, and would do them justice if they died, which is terrible.
Yeah. Alright, so one of the things is to always remember that if you're going to kill off your character, you need to know if you're ready, personally and in the character aspect of it. because if you're not emotionally ready, and if the character themselves is not at a point where it makes sense, then you need to kind of wait for it to become that time.
Yeah, I agree. And you also need to think of, is it going to matter to people? And part of that is timing. Timing is everything when you're doing character stuff. So maybe your character is not at a prominent point where their death would mean things to other people, but if you work hard and work to make that character more well known, then their death will be way more impactful to everybody.
I think another thing is to make sure that you talk to the people running the LARP and make sure it's okay for that moment to be more important in the storyline later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really difficult to say goodbye to a character like that. Because when you play, especially in a LARP, if you're doing it right, you should take stock in that character.
Yeah.
And it should be kind of like a part of you, which my character definitely became, and I saw myself in his struggles. And yeah, it's tough. the day that we died, that fateful day, it was emotional, like tears. No.
It was rough. I was apprehensive about the choice for a long time, and I liked the character, but I didn't see any other way out for him as any kind of hero or anything like that. So I thought it was better to end it on a high note than to extend it out any further. And so I'm happy with the decision to a point. Pretty much ever since then, I've been wearing this necklace that I put on Vilius when I first made him to just kind of remind myself. It's been kind of a weird couple weeks since then.
Yeah, and I just started stealing from people, so...
I would say I am fairly okay with how it ended. Mostly just because I'm still in the grieving phase of it, I think. I as a whole, I'm happy with how it developed, and it was, for Vilius, it was the self-destructive path that I think was inevitable for him, and I am sad about it, but I have come to terms with how it has ended, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with Wes's character arc. From the first time that I played Wes, I kind of left that first LARP with the feeling like he's going in a positive direction. So I've been leaning more and more into that. And in the one where he dies, I got to really explore kind of the fact that he now believes that there can be good in the world and that he wasn't a lost cause. And so he kind of takes on the role of a folk hero for the city and becomes... sort of his childhood idol and the ideal of good for him, which was really interesting to play and really satisfying. And then when he dies a good man instead of a bad man, which I think was important and crucial for that. Yeah, so there are plenty of reasons that you might want to kill off your character. For instance, like I did, I saw my character kind of at the end of what I was entertained with and what I thought was working, and I thought it would be good time to make an emotional impact if they died a heroic death. And I think that's definitely a good way if you're going to kill off your character to go.
For me, it was in similar vein. I was done with the character. I was resolving my arc, but more than that, it's also the fact that most villains don't last very long, at least in this LARP formation that we have. It just doesn't make sense for them to have a persisting story. So to have a character that they've known to last as long as he has and then become a villain, I felt like that was a good final beat for him. As long as you're not like gonna do it like we have, where it's your character's done and you're tired of your character. Another example would be if your GM or whoever's running the LARP wants to make an emotional impact that is not for the main story, but brings the stakes higher for the rest of the players. It's not always necessary, but you know, if it's something that you've talked about with your GM, then it makes sense for the story.
Right, like few things make a bigger impact and make a bigger statement than a character death, or a player character death for sure. So when you can do those, and when they're really impactful, that's pretty much the only reason that you should really do that. If you're doing it just because you're bored with the character, I'd advise against it.
Yeah, just change the character outright. You know, come back as a different character the next one and try that out. You can always have that character in your back pocket.
That way, yeah, you can always go back to it if it sounds interesting again, or if you think you have a new take on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, yeah. Actually, during this specific LARP, we had so another player was playing someone on the evil side, my side of the story, and they just ran away after the tides had begun to turn, and so that way they have that character in the back pocket, but they don't have to come back or feel like they need to play that character any longer than they want to or have to.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that impactful. It could be
Absolutely.
It could be you getting kicked out of town, which is always fun.
Yes.
It could be you going out on a journey, which I did, kind of having to not be at some of them. I had to come up with a reason, which is that I was off training. It could be your training. You could be exploring the world. The important point is being creative and using other ways to exit that character other than death.
And sometimes that's necessary because life gets in the way. With Andrew, he had to go away to college. With other people, it's because you're going on vacation, you can't be there for a LARP. It's understandable. So just having those in-character explanations helps.
Yeah, actually, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll always love Wes, and I'll always love what I did with the character and the role of thief. It was just something new and exciting to me. But after playing it for a while, you know, there's other stuff I want to try. Maybe I want to be not the super smartest person in the room and be an idiot. The sky's the limit, and I have some ideas just to have more fun and take a break from the super serious aspect that I had.
As for me, I actually don't have much of an idea. I initially, in the beginning, played a one-off character until I found Vilius, and I may return to him, but as of right now, I'm pretty unsure of what the future will hold for me.
Alright guys, that is it for this video today. I hope you found it informative and helpful. If you did, remember to like...
Oh, actually, can we do this one?
Okay.
Please
Like,
and
subscribe,
and
follow
us
on
Instagram
at
Larpshire.
Okay, not bad. Okay guys, we will see you in the next video.
He's holding us against our will.